Peace and love. Peace and love, everybody. How y'all doing? This is Sister Nzinga from Flowing and Growing with Sister Nzinga, where we are working on emancipating ourselves from mental slavery. Because none but ourselves can free our minds. And we know what? We are trying to also get people to think, because it ain't illegal yet. There's so many things that go on in life, and we just accept it. What we use that word acquiesce. I like that word. Do we just kind of just accept this is what they tell us, and we just kind of go along with it, and don't even think if the shit makes sense or if it for how it really will affect us. We just kind of just do things, and so I just want to just talk to you. Oh, before I go on today, I need to give a shout out to my daughter, who gave birth to a 8.8 pound 9 ounce baby. So I'm really happy for her, and so this is my fourth grandchild, but I have 3 grandsons, and now I have a granddaughter. So I'm excited about that. So shout out to baby Omari. Welcome to the world, baby. Welcome to the world. Anyway, yeah, so these young kids, we got to get these together and let them be able to start thinking, at a young age. That's what's really important, get them to start thinking at a young age, because it ain't illegal yet. Ain't no one tell what's going to be going on by the time they become adults, because the world is getting sicker and sicker and sicker. So I just want to just be brief today and just talk about some things that I just want you to think about, these kind of things that make you say, Do you recall a long time ago, it depends on your age, that there was this big campaign about lead paint in the homes, and they were saying it's because, in some of the homes there's chip paint, and the kids could eat the paint and die. But do you recall, now that you think about it, do you recall ever seeing a lot of cases where that was reported saying that these kids had died or got sick because they ate chip paint in a particular place? Y'all, that was just another lie. That was just another lie. They want to get rid of the lead paint because, I guess all back in the day, all the paint had lead in it. So that's what's on the walls. But, they just wanted to get rid of that because, and actually they even formed companies, that could go in and do all this kind of stuff. That's what they do. Even to this day, that they have them to go and eliminate all the lead paint in buildings. And I think it actually has a name for it. But anyway, that was because these people are doing all this AI stuff, and they could see you, and they can get through energy, and which is radio waves and so forth. They could find out what's going on in your house. They could know. They could ride past a house and be able to, with some type of electronic device or whatever, how they do it, and be able to see who who's in that, not who per person is in the house, but like if you have your phone, based on your phone and whatever electronics, something that you're on, or if they want to be able to send something electronically to you, they could do that. So they said they wanted to get rid of the lead paint because they wanted to be able to continue to they wanted to be able to penetrate through the walls with some of the stuff that they're doing, is radioactive stuff, the radiation itself, but being able to find, they got devices that can seek out certain things. They could, if your phone number is whatever, they get this tower, they have technology that could just say, they know, they can check and see if that person's in this house. They're supposed to be in here if they're looking for them, whatever. But you get my point. So it really wasn't because they're really trying to save some kids. That's another lie. Ain't that something? Something else that's kind of strange is that, when they talk about the slave ships that came over here, they even have names for them and that kind of stuff. But have you ever seen a replica of one? Only thing that they draw when they show how the slaves was laying side by side, all this kind of stuff down in the bottom of the ship. But where are the ships? We have historical stuff from they got some of the ships that Columbus sailed from, way a long time ago. But where are these ships? Why come they weren't retained and used in the history of telling, the story that they had? Excuse me. Excuse me. Sorry. So think about that. Where are these ships? And then go and do some more research and find out how there was so many black people that was here before all this slave trading was going on. And this lies. We are the original Indians, the people they call the Indians. Find out the story, do some research and find out the stories about how they, because of a census or for tax purposes or some type of legal something where they wanted to be able to declare people, a human being, that they created this group of people, and gave them a label. And so that means and then they were three-fourths of a person, and then they were, either they was Indian or they was that kind of stuff. It's just so much history. I mean, it's so much to talk about when it comes to this stuff. But wait a minute, I know the point was about the ships. But look up and see, ask them where are these ships, and see if you could find a replica or some pictures or anything about these slave ships, because that's really just another part of the lie that was made up. And the thing I was talking about about the black people being here, there's so many tricks that they had used. They start putting people in certain categories. If you was this, if you was that, and so they didn't want them to be called, the original Aborigines. So they just gave them a name. But do some research to find out that people are really kind of getting into that and understanding the truth about what really happened back in the days when these people first came here. And something else that I like to think about is that, when they, like Pfizer and also the Johnson & Johnson and all these different companies that's out here doing all this type of medical research and something like that. Have you ever seen anything in the news where they're saying that Pfizer was working on a certain disease or something, and now they've cured it? Because even when they told you that, even when they did all this last that C-19 mess, that they did tell in the end that this stuff was not even curing it. The vaccination they was giving out wasn't even curing C-19. And so, but just as a whole, and then they got the cancer center here, the cancer center of this, the cancer center of that. So there are some people that are being cured by these processes that they use for when people say they got cancer. But what come all these years? It's been hundreds of years, and they just keep building more centers versus putting the money towards some research to find out, how to cure cancer. But it really, no money really needs to be involved because, there's already cures for it. I mean, so this is just some of the stuff that they give us, and we have to accept this stuff. We have to accept this stuff, that this is what they're telling us. Just like they tell us the taxes. All this stuff is made up. I think in my last video I was telling you guys about that these were options when they're telling you got to do this, you got to do that. They're options. But do understand that everything that they have come up with, they've just made it up. And they tell you this is so. So they just kind of formed their own committees and just said that they're going to run stuff and just, So get your own group together, and y'all can form some committees. You can make up some shit of your own. That's something that will satisfy you and yours, and something that makes sense for you, something that can benefit you and yours, whoever your group is. But these are things. There's just people here that are just making things up as they go. Even taxes. That's just really disgusting how they just made up this thing with the taxes, and then the Social Security. We pay into Social Security all the years that we in our work that we're working. Then they take this money, they set it aside somewhere. Then they tell you, based on their calculation. Now, I don't know anybody who has all their whole script about all the money that they made, and they can calculate and tell you that based on the money that I made, how much money I paid, and I pay how much money I paid in FICA and PSYCA, all these different like Social Security things here, that this is the amount I'm really supposed to get. We trust them to tell us that this is how much money you're going to get, okay, and this is how we're going to give it to you. And then they tell you that if you give it when you're this age, at 60, I guess 60 years old is one amount of money, and 62 is another amount of money, and 65 up there. What's the name? But what happened to this is money that you made, and you made it like over the last 30 or 40 years, depending on your age and so forth. And people start working when they're 14 years old, so it's even more than this. It's at least 50-something years. How is it they can just take that money and then they're going to give you the money back? And then when you give that money back to you, you have to pay taxes on it again. They've already taxed the money, and then they haven't given you any interest of anything that money has made during the time they've been using that money over the last 40 or 50 years that you have not donated, you have, gave to this particular program that's saying that you're going to get some money when you retire. Where's the interest on that money? And it's so disgusting that they have to tax it. So you have to pay taxes on that money you already paid. You gave them money that you already paid taxes on, and then when they get it back to you, you have to pay taxes on it again. I just can't believe that even at 60 or 70 years old that they still gonna tax people. I mean, what age are you going to get to when they can just say that you just no longer have to pay taxes? You done paid your dues. There's so much stuff that we need to think about, y'all. And it's simple to say, yeah, wake up. People, they are still sleeping, but you don't realize, but you can't realize that you are in this situation because you really trust and believe the system that's in place. And some people just really don't want to change. They don't want to change the things that they eat. They want to change the ways that they eat, that they think. They don't want to change the way that they do things when they know that it's maybe previously the way you was doing it is really not a good way. Get unstuck. Get unstuck. That thing with the taxes just flabbergasts me. It's just so disgusting how they're going to just tell you with your Social Security that they're going to tell you this is what they're going to give you, and then you have to pay taxes on it again after you already paid taxes on that money. You pay taxes on it, and then you had to give it to them, and they hold it for all that long time, and then you get no interest on any of that money, but they still take some of it back. But I'm going to leave it right there. I just want you just to think, folks. Think, because it ain't illegal yet. And I created the acronym, taking hold of and implementing new knowledge. T, taking. H, hold of. I, implementing. N, new. K is knowledge. Taking hold of and implementing new knowledge, y'all. We've just got to be bold enough and brave enough. I mean, are you brave enough that, say when you were out with your friends that, say if you just decided you didn't want to, you don't eat meat, for health reasons, and made choices for yourself. It's a choice to eat what you want to eat. Are you brave enough that when you go someplace that all your friends are stopping at McDonald's and you could say, okay, and you say, I don't eat at McDonald's. And you say, well, I guess I'll just eat some French fries. Or are you going to go along and just get some food like everybody else is doing? I mean, it's not easy being your authentic self, because being our authentic self, it doesn't go along with the grain of following someone else's ideas and create, or narrative that someone else has created for you. So, are you brave enough? Are you courageous enough to be able to take the initiative and say, well, no, y'all, that's not good for me. Or even speak up if everybody's doing, say, okay, let's just go somewhere, let's stop and get something to eat. So are you brave enough in your crowd of your peers to say, no, y'all don't want to eat there. Maybe let's try this, let's try that. Or you just kind of go along, you acquiesce. I mean, it ain't easy. It ain't easy thinking for yourself and making decisions that are not the norm. I love my little signs that I have in my house that says, abnormality in this locality is normality. Because my lifestyle is abnormal to, I guess, the regular, average folk. I don't eat, dress, think, and especially eat just the standard way that everybody does. But that's a choice that I made for myself. Because I care about myself and I want to be healthy. I want to have longevity of life. And I want to be free and not be bound down by someone else's ideas, someone else's narrative. So I just say, y'all, think it ain't illegal yet. It ain't illegal yet. And take hold of the new stuff that you get and use it, implement it. It don't do no good for you to know shit. If you know stuff ain't good for you. I just was in a conversation earlier today, and this person was talking about, well, y'all, I just can't stop eating pork bacon because it tastes good. I said, even though you know it's not good for your health, and you know that even within your family that you have issues, of high blood pressure and diabetes and stuff, you still wouldn't stop eating just because it tastes good? And that person said no. So you know what thing? You can't tell people what to do. You can't tell people what to do. I'm just a messenger, and I'm just trying to share some information and share because I love y'all. I love you. But, I'm going to do me, and I guess you're going to do you. So I'm just here to share and care. But God loves you, and so do I. So until the time we meet again, think it ain't illegal yet.